Welcome to the MotorMarvel. My name's Salvatore, and yes, I still have not regained my voice. So I'm sorry about that, but bear with me. Today we have the 2025 Subaru Forester Sport Hybrid. Now, in this review, I want to find out, with this reworked hybrid system in this Subaru Forester that promises more refinement, better efficiency, and a smoother ride, can it still be competitive amongst the more affordable Chinese alternatives and some of the heavy hitters, especially the Toyota RAV4. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another time we make an upload like this. Other than that, let's get on to the review. It comes in just over $54,000 before on-road costs. Now, it does compete against the RAV4 and the more affordable Chinese alternatives and the likes of the Hyundai Tucson and so forth, because after all, it is a mid-size SUV. And honestly, I think Subaru's done a good job in terms of the design and the looks of this 2025 Subaru Forester. I really do like this sport model. I like this grey paint, and I also like the copper accents on the Sport. Now, a lot of people might say it's a bit polarizing and a bit too much. I honestly think it gives the Subaru Forester Sport its own identity, and it makes it a bit different amongst the range. You get LED front headlights, you got gloss black on the grille here, guys. We come around to the side, we've got black cladding that goes around the wheel arches with some vents here. You got 19-inch copper wheels. You've got that copper styling down the side here with a textured finish on that black cladding there. You got gloss black around the windows, door mirrors, and the roof rails. You got privacy glass on the rear. Coming to the rear, you've got part LED and halogen rear taillights, which is a bit of a shame. I didn't expect that on a car in 2025. You got Subaru on the back, Forester embossed on the back tailgate, and e-box are there to show everyone you're driving a hybrid. Plus, you got that copper finish around the single exit exhaust and more black cladding. So the biggest improvement to this latest Forester is its new hybrid system. The predecessor was just awful. This, on the other hand, is miles ahead. It's just a lot smoother, it's a lot more capable, and it is way more efficient. I really do like this new hybrid system. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Subaru and Toyota are in a partnership, because Toyota owns an equity stake in Subaru, meaning they have access to their hybrid tech. So thank you, Toyota. So what do? You get a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder boxer hybrid that produces 145 kilowatts at 276 newton meters of torque. It sends all that power through a CVT gearbox, constantly vulgar transmission to be honest, and permanent all-wheel drive, allowing this Subaru to sprint from 0 to 100 in 9.5 seconds. Now, it's not rapid, and to be fair, it is a bit underpowered, but it is a very efficient motor. You can expect around about 6.7 litres per 100 Ks. That is what Subaru claim. But what I was getting was around about 7.2, which to be fair, isn't far off what they claimed in the first place. Boot capacity, electronic tailgate. Why? They're all delayed. Every time I do a review, anticlimactic, these things are delayed. Nonetheless, you have 484 litres of boot capacity. You do have a parcel shelf, which is nice, but unfortunately, there is nowhere to store it. You either leave it in the car like that, or you leave it at home, because under storage is taken up with the batteries for the hybrid system, which is a bit of a shame. You have tie down points here. You got your subwoofer in the back here. You got a 12-volt socket over here. And if you want to lower the second row, you can by simply hitting the switch there, and you increase your boot capacity to 1,162 litres. So, if you decide to take your Subaru Forester Sport Hybrid off-road, you certainly can, because it has, number one, permanent all-wheel drive, and it also has ground clearance 220 millimeters, approach angle 19 degrees, and a departure angle of 24.7 degrees. It's time to read the array of safety features that this car comes with, because modern cars come with literally a list. It's ridiculous. The safety features on this car are quite annoying, especially the driver monitoring system. Honestly, it is irritating. And to be fair, that's not just Subaru. A lot of manufacturers with that monitoring system fall short because I don't understand the point of it. It's more distracting than keeping you safe. Especially in this, I know I'm going on a bit of a rant here. When you're driving and you want to see in your blind spot, it will bing at you and bong at you that you're not staring at the road. I'm trying to see the cars in my blind spot so I don't crash into them. Give me a break. Nonetheless, let's read the list. Autonomous emergency braking, autonomous emergency steering, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, driver monitoring system, emergency driver stop system, emergency lane keep assist, front side radar, lane centering, lane change assist, lane keep assist, recross traffic alert, rear parking sensors, surround view camera, traffic sign recognition, and tire pressure monitoring system. Now the problem is, it comes with a massive list. However, it doesn't come with something that's been around for a very long time, and that is front sensors. I don't know why. It's a bit odd, especially where other manufacturers have that on a base model car. And this is a top spec hybrid variant of the Forester, and it doesn't come with it. What's going on, Subaru? So, what's the interior like in this Forester Sport Hybrid? At first glance, it looks very rugged and also pretty decent and modern at the same time. Now, you do get that same copper treatment that you see on the exterior continue with the interior. So it's on the door panels here with some cloth finish. So you've got copper and grey. Then you've got this leatherette finish on the dash here with this textured hexagonal finish with some copper on there as well. Then you've got these black leather seats with the copper treatment. And you also get a black roof lining and a leather steering wheel with copper stitching. Now, the steering wheel itself, while it feels good in your hands, the stitching does look like it was done in arts and craft. It really doesn't feel that premium. And that goes for some other materials too. You got scratchy plastics down here and on the dash because it's like half scratchy and half soft touch. It's a bit of a shame where this car sits in the market, it's up against some heavy hitters that offer a lot more premium finishes for not so much money. So that's a bit of a shame. But nonetheless, you do get two digital displays. You got one for the driver and one for the infotainment. Your infotainment is 11.6 inches and your driver's display is 12.3 inches. Now the driver's display, while the graphics are clear and crisp, you really can't change the graphics themselves. You're stuck with the same display for everything. So it's a bit of a shame. It doesn't really have much of a modification standpoint in terms of trying to change it in accordance to what you feel like on a certain given day. Where most car manufacturers offer you, like when you put it in sport, it changes graphics, and in eco changes graphics, where with this, it's the same thing every time. But it does have all the information you need. The vertical screen, now while it is pretty decent, it is laggy at times and the graphics are on the bit of the dated side. Like, they do feel dated. It doesn't feel that modern. But you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, which is really nice. You got dual climate controls, which is all controlled via the screen. You got heated seat options for both outboard seats. And then you got physical knobs here and buttons to operate your climate control, plus your volume and your tuner, which is really good. Then coming down here, you got a USB-A charger, USB-C, and an aux input. You do have a wireless phone charger, but be warned, there is no rubber padding. So if you turn violently or just turn into an intersection, your phone does slide out of there. So you're never going to get a proper charge. Would be nice to see some rubber padding down there. Then you've got two decent cup holders, a 12-volt socket, place to store your keys, a decent size center console, a pretty decent glove box, door bins that are pretty good as well. They fit your water bottle easily. And down on the doors, I will mention there is a graphic down there that's like embossed on the door, and it has kind of like an off-road setting with two footprints, which is pretty cool. Gives it a bit of a rugged vibe. I do like that. And then you got a Harman Kardon sound system, which is epic. You got visors that have extendable parts of it, which look, to be fair, I really do think this should be on more cars, especially in Sydney, because when the sun does glare into your blind spot, it really does annoy the crap out of you. So having it there to just block it out is really good. You've also got a place up here to store your sunnies. You've got a sunroof, and the seats are electronically adjustable. And to be fair, they're not that bad. They're pretty comfortable. It's just the bolstering is a bit lacking. So you kind of don't really feel like you're hugged most of the time. Other than that, guys, all in all, it's not too bad, but there are a couple of things I would have liked to see changed a little bit to make this a bit more of a, heavy hitter in the market that it sits in. Let's jump into the rear and see what the back seats are like for a family. The second row, to be honest, it's actually not too bad back here. It's really nice. So this seat's in my driving position and I got plenty of knee room. It easily can stretch my feet underneath the seat in front. I got plenty of headroom, and fitting 3 passengers in the back here is not the worst in the world, but the person in the middle will find it a bit tight, especially because it's got a hump in the floor. You do tend to sit a bit higher than usual. But you do have some creature comforts back here. So you've got 2 air vents down here, a USB-A and a USB-C charging down here. You've got decent sized door bins, mat pockets on the back of the seats. You've got a center armrest with 2 cup holders. You've got ISOFIX anchor points on both outboard seats, but you have 3 top tether points, which is really nice. So you can potentially fit 3 baby seats in the back. But other than that, it's not too bad. So what's the Subaru Forester Sport like out on the open road? Well, to be honest, the biggest improvement on this car, like I have said when we were talking about engine and specifications, was its new hybrid powertrain. Honestly, it is a massive leap in the right direction for Subaru, and that's thanks to that partnership with Toyota. So there are 2 electric motors. Motor generator 1 is predominantly used as a starter motor, and motor generator 2 is used to assist the internal combustion motor. So it is a very efficient hybrid system. It's very smooth, and it is honestly a lot better than the predecessor. I really do like it. With day-to-day driving, it's very comfortable, the car, it's very quiet, and the power delivery is not too bad. However, I will say it's paired to one of the most annoying transmissions on earth. I'm so sorry, but I really cannot stand CVT gearboxes. It's just, there's no feel, there is no connection with the car. For example, I'll put my foot down right now, and all you get from the engine is, it is honestly annoying. I don't like it. I wish they just used either a, traditional torque converter automatic or even a dual clutch system. The steering isn't the worst, but I would have liked a bit more weight in the steering, especially since this is the sport model. Now you can put it into sport, but nothing really happens. Like, yeah, the steering's a little bit more weighted, and the throttle response is a bit more sharper, if you would say that, but it's not really. To be fair, it's a great daily commuter, but in terms of just being like sporty, it's not really that. Like, the suspension is phenomenal for daily commutes, but in terms of being stiff and holding you in the corners, it really doesn't. You feel kind of disconnected to the car. And then there's the safety features that constantly beep at you all the time. I hate them. I wish there was a permanent button to turn them all off. Now you can press the EV mode down here, but it can only be used at low speeds. So at high speeds, you can't just run on electric only, which is a bit of a shame, considering many of the alternatives to this car in the market can. And then there's the brakes. The brakes, they're not the worst, but they're not the best. Look, I will say this is a great daily commuter. It is a massive improvement over the outgoing model, but I'm just not sold at it being a sport. And I don't know, Subaru Foresters back in the day were kind of cool because they were pretty much a WRX or an Impreza replicated in a wagon form. And in this, I don't feel that DNA come through. It does lack in all that essence of what they used to be like. time for the MotorMarvel rating. And before we give the rating for this Subaru, I do want to say this. I don't know about you guys, but Subaru Foresters of the past really felt like that they had the DNA from the Impreza and the WRX when you drove the equivalents in the Forester range. You really did feel it just continue on into the Forester. But with this, you don't. You feel a disconnection. And even though it has the Sport logo, and I understand it's a hybrid, I was expecting Subaru to either give it a turbocharger or give it more power. There's not enough power for anything. You put your foot down and it's just, yeah, it's boring. It's like 0 to 100 is dealt with in 9.5 seconds, which is pretty, I'm not being slack, but atrocious in this day and age, like where most cars are sitting in around about 7 seconds. And the feel of the steering's a bit light. The brake feel is not that great. I know the all-wheel drive system does keep you planted, and I will give Subaru credit for that. And you do have elements of the car that make it feel different to the range because it's got all the copper treatment, making it a completely different look to everything else. But that's about it. It's not much different to the rest of the Forester range. And to have a sport badge and not really be that sporty, I'm sorry, but you get a rating of 3 out of 10. And for that, it's a bit sad for me because I really do love the Foresters. So, what's my verdict on this 2025 Subaru Forester Sport Hybrid? Well, for starters, it's a massive leap in the right direction for Subaru. Honestly, this new hybrid power plant is more refined, more efficient, and way smoother than the predecessor. However, there are 3 things that will kind of deter me from buying this Forester in the first place. Number 1 is the CVT gearbox. Honestly, I find it sluggish, boring, droning, and honestly, you don't feel really a connection with the car when using it. It's a bit of a shame. Then secondly, even though the engine is really efficient, smoother and more refined, it does lack power. And in a car that wears the Sport logo, and that brings me on to the third thing, you'd expect a turbocharger and a little bit more power. You know, it's not Subaru's fault. I see a lot of manufacturers doing the same thing, giving their cars a sport badge, but not really being sporty. So I can't blame them on that. But I would like to see more power in this hybrid setup, especially for the Sport. So amongst the competition, it kind of blends in now. And it's a bit of a shame because some of the competition offer way more features for a lot less money. And then you have the heavy hitter, the RAV4, which unfortunately is a very, very good mid-size SUV. So it's not that the Subaru Forester by any means is a bad car. It's a massive leap in the right direction. It defeats its predecessor. But unfortunately right now, in this day and age, it kind of just blends in with the competition and you kind of forget about it, which is a real big shame.